Good afternoon, everybody. Congratulations to those of you who've remained and still here at this point. I can see the room's thinned out a little since this morning. I don't know if that's a statement about the topics of this presentation, but hopefully it's more about transport and wanting to get home. Thanks, Alex. As you said, my name's Richard Everist. I've been responsible for Liebherr's mobile crane businesses in the UK and Ireland for the last 16 years. Just a clicker. It'd be a bit ironic if they talk about technology, the technology doesn't work, doesn't it? But, so I'm going to, you'll be pleased to hear, give you a brief overview of developments that are coming from Liebherr, the European Union, and AI, how those are improving, or will improve, crane safety, particularly with regard to driver assistance systems. Now, I'm very conscious of the fact that some of the technology I'm going to talk about, in the context of modern cars, is not new. A driver assistance has been around for quite some time. Most of us are driving cars now which help you brake, will warn you of hazards in the road, and will even brake for you if you fail to. But all of that relates to cars. So far, those kind of assistance systems haven't existed, certainly in cranes, and mostly not in commercial vehicles. Just to give another example of technology that you would take for granted and have done for some time in everyday use of your car, but in the crane world it's still a relatively new addition. The first one is being able to alert the operator should he starts to drive or plan to drive off with an elevated boom. There have been in the past, not so many thankfully, but when they do happen, catastrophic accidents where the mobile crane has driven off and has collided with a bridge because the boom is up in the air. Bridge bashing, they call it. And this system fitted now into the cranes will alert the driver that he's not put the crane away properly and he needs to address it. Of course, it's only a warning because it may be that you do want to drive with the boom in the air, and that's perfectly fine. Another one, again, in your car, you've taken this for granted for quite a few years now, that if you park and your parking brake is automatically applied, or you get a warning if it's not applied, then this is a relatively recent addition into the cranes, that the driver will now get a warning if he tries to leave the cab and the brake's not applied. Again, it came out of a real-life incident on a site with a crane where the driver got out of the cab and the crane then rolled down a hill. So obviously nobody was hurt, thankfully, but potentially a serious accident waiting to happen. Now, why did I reference the European Union? I did that because this is not a Liebherr initiative. This is a European Union initiative from a few years ago that's coming into force now. And you can see, although that says relevant assistance systems for mobile cranes, this also applies to commercial vehicles. And so you can see there, 1 to 10 of the features that the EU have said this is now or will be mandatory for all heavy goods vehicles, including mobile cranes, except that not all of those are for mobile cranes. The ones that are highlighted there are the ones that we have to consider now when we produce a mobile crane. And I'm going to focus on 3, 4 and 5. So you can see in the picture there how the pedestrians or the cyclists or anybody who is a human, man, woman or child, is in the scope of being detected by the systems around the vehicle. And this is an extract from the EU regulation that specifically relates to this edict from the EU. And it clearly said that particularly there, item number 3, that they shall be equipped with advanced systems capable of detecting pedestrians, etc., etc. And then the second relevant piece of information I mentioned, I referenced AI, probably the third or fourth person today, or maybe more, to talk about AI, and that is the camera systems, whereas we've had cameras on vehicles for a long time, but these are powered by AI to be able to detect human form recognition. So as I mentioned, there's 3 relevant systems for mobile cranes. First one is the blind spot. Now those of you who've from the UK or from Ireland will have spotted that although we drive on the right side, the correct side of the road, our colleagues on the continent drive on the wrong side of the road, and so the blind spot is there on the right-hand side. Reversing detectors have been around for a long time, but this is an advancement on that. And then the final one there is the moving off information system. So all these 3 are mandated by the EU regulation that I showed you just now. So beginning with that one, this is with the blind spot. You can see what you have now is a camera system on the side of the crane, which will facing along the blind spot, and then inside the cab there is a warning system, either a traffic light to warn the driver, amber or red, if there is a human in the vicinity in his blind spot, and then he can take the appropriate action. As an option, we will also have the actual live image of the blind spot. Fairly obvious, the reversing information system. Again, a camera on the rear of the vehicle, as you can see. And again, the same warning in the cab for the driver. And it's not just a picture, it will also warn if there is a human in the vicinity, where he's about to reverse. And finally, the moving off information system. Now, is there anybody here from the British Police? Good, that I can speak freely. Meet Freddie. Freddie is a construct of Lancashire Police. He's a life-sized cardboard cutout of a child. Lancashire Police are amongst some of the police forces in the United Kingdom who are obsessed with trying to catch crane company drivers, crane company owners out, either because of their routings or for any other reason. And this is their latest way of trying to do that. So they have created Freddie. You see here stood in front of a crane. Some of you may think that maybe the police would be better spending their time catching criminals, but anyway, let's say they decided to go with this. And this was in the news a few months ago that they posted this as a potential issue. So this next picture is exactly the same scenario. Freddie is still there, but from the point of view of the driver, you can see that he can't see Freddie. So from that perspective, you might think, well, the police have got a point. Okay? So, with the new system, there are 2 cameras. 2 cameras either side of at the ends of the extremities of the windscreen, pointing in front of the crane, in front of the hook block. And the reason that we need the 2 is because of the hook block. Because of that, we know that that is going to be impeding the vision. Then we need to have the 2 cameras operating at the same time, which will then detect Freddie or anybody else who happens to be in front of the crane. So again, you get the driver will have a warning to alert him or her, sorry, Katie's gone, to the fact that there's potentially a human form in the way, either through the traffic light system or on the newer Lycon 3 cranes through the dashboard. So that's it in a nutshell. These are the ways that the Liebherr is dealing with the new directive coming from the EU of how we are going to install these camera systems powered by AI to make driving on the road safer for the crane driver and for the pedestrians. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Anyone like to ask something? So, I'm late. Okay, great. In that list that you had of all the things required, was the TPMS required, but you won't be talking about it? Or is it something that isn't required?
If it wasn't so for the cranes, it's required for the commercial vehicles, yeah.
But not on cranes?
But the newer cranes do have it anyway.
Okay, yeah, because it just seems to make a lot of sense with so many tyres.
Yeah, the Lycon 3 cranes have TPMS.
Okay, good to know. How does the human form recognition work? Is that just a sort of module you buy from Bosch or something, like you do for cars, or is it?
We make cranes, we don't do AI. We just buy the AI.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, it's powered by the AI to detect. But human form recognition cameras are very common now.
Okay, so some of those systems you can just buy in from Bosch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just goes on.
Yeah.
Not necessarily yours.
No. It's a off-the-shelf system.
Okay. And last chance for a question, no? Oh yes, we do have a question.
Sorry, Anastasia from the Dublin Stadium to entertain the match AI topic. It's passion of ours. And preventive maintenance, because you have all these indicators and all the history how the crane operates, right? Do you look into that analysis with AI tools right now or not yet?
We're a crane manufacturer, not an operator. I don't know of anybody who's using AI to do preventative maintenance. I'm sure that it will come in the future.
Okay, so it's not even okay, thanks.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you.